And away we go. I don't know how many people we're going to get. 25 people watching live, 30 people watching live. I did this as a joke, and look at what you're doing to me. You guys are making me work. Give me 1 second so I can send this out so everybody can join us on my team. I need to get it out to everybody so I'm not left here alone. How's everybody doing tonight? What a game. I was frustrated. I was throwing stuff in my basement. I turned my phone off for my mental health. My wife thought that maybe the roof was going to come down. I was in the basement, so I'm not sure how that would have worked for her upstairs. But it was quite the show, wasn't it? We still don't have a stupid phone thing working, but we do have the links. I will share. I will immediately put the link in here if you want to join, and let's talk. This is therapy. I appreciate everybody being here. This is just for fun, no obligation, nothing. You guys just let's get in and talk about this game. I'm impressed that I can't believe this cult of personality that I have. Wow. How about that? Nuts? Appreciate everybody being here. By the way, whose idea was this? This was the BYU Outlaw is the one who asked me to set this thing up tonight, and I think it was a very good idea. I guess maybe we'll do this every week if BYU wins all the time. I'm going to post the link for you guys to join. I want you to click it. You don't have to turn on your camera. Just come on and give me 3 minutes about what you thought about that game. I'm going to repeat the things that I've been saying for literally 2 years. Right before they fired Tuiaki, I said they need to fire Tuiaki. So the next year they fired Tuiaki. The very next year, and for now 2 years running, I've said they need to fire A-Rod. And the reason they need to fire A-Rod is he's horrible. They do a 40-yard pass play, Jeff, and I'll give you the mic in a second. 40-yard pass play, right? A breakout play. Go from 35 to 35. You're going to go score in 3 plays. What does he run? He runs a counter sweep, or he runs the old jet sweep from Puka Nacua days. He can't run anything north-south with any strength. Everything is a pitch or a catch, and it's very, very frustrating to watch. On top of all of that, what the hell's going on with the quarterback position? BYU has money. You and I both know BYU has money. It's taken a little bit to get to market, but Kevin Young was given how much money, Jeff, over this last offseason? We're talking probably $10 million. He's getting paid $5 million, and the basketball team's getting all the money. So fill everybody in. You're more plugged into BYU stuff than I am. I live in Pleasant Grove. You live in Alabama. But tell everybody kind of what you're hearing, and I want to hear your feedback about the game.
Dude, I'm ecstatic. Can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Yeah. I saw you want to vent about the game. You sound like you're pissed off. Dude, we were 12-point underdogs on the road to a team that had a long nine-game home winning streak, averaging like 55 points a game.
Yeah, but none of that matters, Jeff.
Dude,
none of that matters.
Wins.
I'm not saying I'm not minimizing the win. I'm saying who's SMU been beating for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years to get to 52 wins? They only played three power schools last year, and they lost all 3 games. They were 9-3. So SMU's a nothing. They're a nothing.
What are you talking about?
They wrote a check to get into the ACC. They're 3 or 4 years away from being competitive. They've got also rans from Florida State, Florida, Miami, and they all look like they're playing different games on different islands. That team could not look more disorganized.
They've got some issues. I mean, obviously you saw that. I watched the Nevada game against SMU a couple weeks ago, that week 0 game. And yeah, they've definitely got some discipline issues. They've got to figure out their quarterback. Honestly, I think if they would have stuck with Stone, who's much better about picking apart defenses down the field, that, traditionally BYU really struggles on turf against, quarterbacks who can just dial it up and pass.
And run that are mobile, right?
And pass. I mean, the game planning was excellent by the defense. I mean,
the defense, there's no doubt about it. Yeah, Jay Hill needs a raise tonight. So that he doesn't get a head coach. He needs to be paid maybe $500,000 below Kalani.
And
He needs to get an
you know,
extension tonight.
you take an ugly win on the road.
I'm not
and
saying
you don't come out of this game saying fire Roderick. I mean, obviously there.
No,
are
I
things
do. I do. I can. Okay, so I can say that. The reason is the offense was nowhere, Jeff. It's been nowhere for 2 years. Don't tell me about personnel. He recruits the personnel. He's the one responsible for bringing in the players that are there. So
Sure.
I think A-Rod does
mean,
need to be gone. The defense won this game,
I'm
and I don't know how
I'm not a huge A-Rod supporter, but this is not the time to lynch him after a win on the road.
Really.
And, I mean,
what did the offense have? 100 total yards or something?
Oh no, we had way more yards than SMU. Is almost 400 total yards, which last year BYU never got to 400 total yards. I was surprised myself. I looked at the ESPN stats. I'm like, man, SMU's got to have way more total yards than BYU. BYU outgained them by 50, 60 yards in the game, even on turnovers. You know, that was the biggest problem. I mean,
well, sure.
Retzlaff made some really boneheaded decisions.
He's horrible, Jeff. He's horrible.
Yeah, I mean, he's
horrible.
He's not the answer to
and either
Big
Sherry
12
Bohannon.
championship, but he may be the answer to get into a bowl game, and that's the, you know, I know that's the concern. You know, people say we gotta get rid of some people to get to the next level. That's probably just not happening this year to get
okay.
all the way up to winning a championship. You don't fire someone in the middle of the season.
Hang on. I think I can counterpoint this. So let's do this, right? Mm-hmm. You and I are both good at this. We respect each other. So what you say, now I'm going to say something completely back. For BYU to get its mojo back, to get the perception back that BYU is the program that you and I both know that they are at their heart and will eventually get back to, the way to do that is to make changes midseason. If he would have fired Tuiaki 3 years ago,
who's gonna come in and do the job?
What do you mean, Moffett? Or who's the QB coach? Or the receivers coach, the short guy. I can't remember his name. He's next player.
Fessy Sataki.
I would let him call plays. He couldn't be any worse than what A-Rod's been doing
that. I mean,
but it doesn't matter. The defense is going to win every game, not the offense. My point is, I don't care who's back there.
You need offense, you need defense, you need special teams. Sometimes your offense is going to carry you. Sometimes your defense is going to carry you. Sometimes you're going to get lucky. Sometimes you're going to lose a game you shouldn't. I mean, it's football. I mean, it's, I live in Tuscaloosa. I'm used to a team that's dominant. But there's a lot of ugly wins that come from Nick Saban. Sometimes you just got to gut out a win. And, Alabama won several national championships without a good offense. Defense wins championships. I mean,
defense does.
And I know BYU fans are used to high flying offense, and if they don't see the high flying offense, they're mad. But I mean, it's more, if you can have an elite defense, that's more important than having a high flying offense.
Okay,
defense travels, as we just saw.
Everything you just said is right, unless you're talking about Florida State, who won with defense and got left out of the playoff. There's nothing you can say to it. A defense wins games. I'm a Seahawks fan. I know defense wins championships, but in college, you have to have a flashy offense.
It helps in an era of a 4-team playoff, but I don't think it
even in a 12-team playoff it matters.
Yeah.
Because the preseason
I think it's funny that you're like pissed off. I mean, we just won a game we were double-digit favorites on. I'm sort of laughing.
But this is I guess you can come on my show and laugh at me if you want. I'll give you that, right? What I'm saying is I'm frustrated because this should have been a 3-touchdown win for BYU. You're comfortable with a 3-point win and get out the door and get on to Laramie. I am not.
Okay.
I'm not comfortable with that.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to agree to disagree on that, okay?
All right. That's fine, man.
All right.
Yeah, I still love you. I love the Cougs.
I love you too. By the way, you're doing good work down there.
Hey, thanks, man.
Yeah, keep that up. And if there's anything I can do for you, you let me know, okay?
Will do, man. Yeah,
okay.
Take care. Go Cougs.
Have fun tonight. Party this weekend.
All right, man.
All right. See you later.
Going to the Bama game tomorrow, so it'll be.
Well, then you'll be out of breath by the end of the week. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Yes, sir. Take care.
See ya. All right. Well, Jeff is the ultimate optimist. I have to give it to him. He's usually the most positive guy in the room. And yet we can disagree and still have it be okay. There's some people that have come on the show that don't know how to have a conversation, don't know how to either debate or talk strongly about their thing without getting personable about the other. That's why I wanted to do the show. We got 200 people watching. You guys care. This isn't just because this is a fever dream that Bomber came up with. So I'm going to post the link again. If you want to join the show, please do. I want to thank again Jeff Fuller for coming in. He is an OG. He was one of my original first followers and first guests on my show, and I really, really appreciate that. All right, so I need somebody else to come on, a third party. You heard me, you heard Jeff. Which is the story that you think is going to be carried out of this? I will say this: after the game, Kalani was frustrated that special teams and the offense just was not helping the defense. I would encourage you to go back on YouTube or on ESPN and watch his interview at the end of the game on the sideline. He was not happy. He was excited they got the win, a lot like Jeff was, but he has higher standards. And I think A-Rod is on borrowed time. If he wasn't before, he certainly is now. Because it's his decision not to bring in Jerry Bohannon. If Jake Retzlaff is their best option, BYU is going to have a long season. You're not going to beat Utah 18-15, and that's the standard for BYU.
Action.
Sergeant Pickles, how are we doing?
Another beautiful day in south of Seattle. How are we doing, Bomber?
I'm feeling pretty good. How are things for you?
You're a glutton for punishment, man. You got to enjoy that. Save the criticism for the Tuesday show. I'm all for having high standards, but man, you got to live a little. It's only been an hour or two.
I lived for about 5 minutes, and then I remembered next week we have to go to a crazy Laramie where BYU's never played well.
Yeah.
And then they come home and they have a very difficult schedule in the Big 12. So
yeah. As you know, playing in Salt Lake at altitude's no joke, but Laramie is next level.
Yeah, nobody should want to travel to Laramie for anything.
Yeah,
at all. I went through there for a work trip, and it was one of the worst places I've ever been.
Yeah. No, but it's honestly, it was a rough game for me to watch because BYU has so much potential. Ultimately, I think hindered by their quarterback. He's playing his heart out there, but I just don't think he has. If you can't threaten them downfield with the arm, then they're just going to key in on the run.
Right.
And BYU had enough to get it done today. Man, SMU is a paper tiger.
They're bad.
They have talent, but man, they're just.
So can we talk about SMU? I'm glad you brought that up because I didn't get to it with Jeff.
Yeah.
SMU, I don't care what the points were for this game, 10.5 points or whatever, favorites. SMU is a bad football team. And if BYU last year had gone 7-5 instead of 5-7, it would have been a BYU 2.5 is what I bet the point spread would have been. BYU's fighting this perception battle that's taken them years to get to where they're at, and it's a really steep climb. And so that's why I take issue with partying after a 3-point on the road, ugly, no offense win. I don't think we can be look, I remember 1984, right? This is not okay for me. Every year BYU should be playing for the Big 12 championship and should be qualifying for the playoff. Any standard below that, I'm not going to be okay with.
Man, I hate to see you after some Seahawks games then, because you and I both share on that one.
Yeah, and both BYU and the Seahawks have the same mentality. They lose late sometimes, and you have to be a glutton for punishment to be a fan.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, SMU, I don't know if they've got the athletes out there, which every ratings projection says they do, they should perform better. I mean, to me, that kind of strikes as you got a lot of guys out there chasing the bag, and that's why they go to SMU, but maybe their heart's not in it for the team. I'm not trying to criticize the players. I mean, they're giving their all on the field, but I know for a fact the guys that go to BYU are dedicated to the team and getting the W. They're not really looking for individual stats like that. And I got high praise for your linebacker core. I haven't caught any BYU games since middle of last year, that linebacking core, I'd put them up against, the top half of any conference. They're very, very good. My concern, and I kind of said this in chat, was there are some good quarterbacks and good passing attacks in the Big 12, and I want to see how that secondary responds when they're tested down the field, because that wasn't really a thing that happened today.
Well, and I think, again, going back to my earlier conversation with Jeff, look, I have no respect for SMU. Can I just say that out loud? If you're an SMU fan, you're just going to have to love to hate me. You guys wrote a check to get into the big boys, and then you show up on the big boys, and you put a team together that looks like it's Mixelplex was taking a bunch of scribble board words and letters and just throw them in the air and hope they all play in the same direction. I was talking to Rock and Rant earlier today, and he said, well, there's like 9 players that were on Florida teams last year that were second or third string that came to SMU to play. You know what I saw on that team today is 9 players playing for themselves, all playing for the $500,000, the $1 million they got to leave sitting on a bench at Florida to come and play at SMU. It's a team that's disorganized. It has no leadership, and you couldn't pick a quarterback till the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
You do not win big time football. This is not the G5. You're not going to win the AAC with 2 quarterbacks anymore. So
yeah,
it's just we have to be looking down the road. These first 3 weeks in preseason football are for tune-up for the conference games, and this should have been a 2 or 3 touchdown win. The first 3 drives, BYU should have gone touchdown, field goal, and they're away running because SMU had no answer.
I mean, yeah, SMU I don't think played their best, but I mean, it all depends on what you think of BYU's quarterback, if he can and really bring it together and create that passing attack they need.
No, he can't. No, he's got. I don't know. I haven't measured him, but he looks to me like he's got pretty small hands, which is why he fumbled. And this is a crazy stat. Put this in your back pocket, and you can use it on Sunday. In 6 games, he has 9 fumbles.
Yeah, I mean,
how is that your starting quarterback?
I don't even know, because the protection at times I think let him down. The one unforgivable thing to me wasn't so much the fumble; it was the interceptions. They were terrible.
I think it was all bad.
I don't know what year he is. If he's a
junior because he transferred from a community college or a state junior college or something like that.
Well, yeah, just throwing it up there. No, eat the sack. It's a bad play. Sack, live another day. If you punt it, kick a field goal, whatever. But just that huck it up and it gets intercepted by one of the linemen, that's unacceptable to me.
Yep, you got it. That's exactly right. Jen Knoll checking in. She just got out of surgery tonight. She might be still on anesthesia. Good to have you here, Jen. You know I love you and your family. I hope you're doing well. Please let us know if you need anything. She says, yay, BYU. She picked BYU in our pick'em and gave us $2 super chat to say that. Thank you so much, Jen. Love you so much.
I definitely, I admit, I picked BYU against the spread, but I was not brave enough to pick them straight up when we did our picks this week. That was my bad. I'm sorry.
I wish we weren't picking against spreads because it takes all the risk out of these picks.
I think it puts more risk into it because I'm not picking anyone that's playing some of these conference favorites. I'm not picking Akron against Ohio State without a spread. I mean, come on, Bomber.
Hey, look, I'm willing to. I'm brave enough to do that. You're not.
But you're gonna pick Eastern Michigan straight up against UW. You go right ahead.
Well, no, obviously I wouldn't. I would pick UW. That's the point. Anyway, I'm just having fun. James Irvin checks in. Oklahoma State fan. Big 12 represent. Thank you so much for the $1, James. I really appreciate it. Anything else you want to say, Pickles?
No, good start to the weekend. BYU got the win. Indiana hammered whatever team, FCS team they were playing.
Right.
Northwestern, I don't know the score right now, but they were in a battle of the nerds against Duke. It was 10-10, and a rabbit ran across the end zone and stopped the game. That was pretty funny. But, yeah, it's going to be an exciting weekend. And as you well know, because I bothered you about it all day today, this is a critical weekend, the critical weekend for the Big 12. You got 9 major games. you better come out 5-4 or better. Otherwise, the national narrative will be the Big 12 doesn't deserve a second playoff team. And I don't agree. I'm just saying that's what they're going to say. So
Well,
go win those games.
in comparison to what, the ACC, because the ACC was just promoting SMU as their new champion. So I don't know about that.
You know how it works, though, Bomber. I mean, perception is reality.
I agree with you.
You know, it's not fair, but it is the way it is. But
I completely agree.
Hoping for a good weekend and a Husky win. And I will see you guys starting on Monday for Big Ten Mafia Show.
Go Huskies, go Hawks.
Go Dogs. Peace out.
That's what we say. We'll see you later. All right. I love it. I love people coming on and tell me I'm wrong because it's a lot of fun. I hate when people agree with me all the time, to be honest. Trent Brown, no, not my brother, but another beloved Trent Brown checks in with a $5 super chat to say Jay Hill may have himself a defense. He does, which I've been saying since last year. Retzlaff owes the D dinner and whatever his NIL is. Yes, I agree with that. Yeah. Jay Hill, BYU, Tom Holmoe, you need to write him a check right now, re-up him for a decade, pay him a bunch of money to keep him around as the defensive coordinator. Because if you don't, I guarantee you Jay Hill would be gone at the end of the year. I promise you that. I'm going to post the link again if you guys want to join. While I'm waiting for you guys to join, if anybody does, I'll just start streaming through comments. This is sort of stream of consciousness night here. We got 270 people watching live. I really appreciate everybody being here. Most of you guys are going to be new to the channel, so make sure you give us a thumbs up. Make sure you definitely like everything that we're talking about tonight. I need you to subscribe and follow me on Twitter. Turn on your notifications so you know when our shows are on. This is a live React show right now, but I have shows all week long with different creators. Sergeant Pickles is one of them with our Big Ten Mafia show. And we'd like to invite you guys to come in and start watching this on a daily. We have a lot of good stuff. Plus, we have Wild Ute University, a bunch of member-only videos that are the top in the business. Anybody becomes a member, goes in and watches one of Wild Ute University videos and doesn't like it, I'll refund your money. I'll personally cut you a Venmo check because you'd have to justify to me why the quality and everything that goes into it is bad, and I'm 99% sure that that's impossible. So consider becoming a member. During a regular show, I defer comments to members first. But tonight it's going to be super chats or not. And everybody stick around. This will be a lot of fun. I'm trying to get more people to join. We keep streaming live, so I'm going to continue to post the link. Just click on that link in the comment section. It'll take you to a window. Don't have to turn on your camera at all. Just join and we'll just talk. That would be totally fine for me. All right, I'm going to start going through these reverse order. Trent Brown says agreed. Hill needs to be paid. His recruiting, play calling, etc. is ahead of the offense by a mile. Why can't we have a grade O and D at the same time? Trent, in my opinion, the easiest way to do that is to get rid of A-Rod in the middle of the season and replace him in the offseason, similar to what happened with basketball this last season. I don't think it'll happen. Kalani is very loyal, but to me, it would take that type of a change. The offense, to me, is not going to fall down going to Fesi Sataki from A-Rod. I don't think there's any drop-off there. In fact, I would say it like this. How could you even drop farther? I'm not even sure how much lower the offense could get. I will also say this. The BYU offense has some of the best receivers in the entire Big 12. Literally, Darius Lassiter, Chase Roberts, two of the best in the country. They're going to be playing on Sundays, and nobody can get them the ball. Keanu Hill, tight end that's built like a Mack truck, gets a touchdown tonight, but nobody can get him the ball in the middle of the field. We're going to waste this entire generation of receivers if we don't get somebody in there who can get them the ball. And if you can't do that, then go to the spread or wing tee and just pitch the ball everywhere. Because right now, that's about all you're getting out of the offense. And I'll also say this, the offensive line played well tonight. People are criticizing for a few sacks and turnovers. You know whose those were on? Jake Retzlaff and the play calling. He holds the ball way too long, and then when he wants to run, except for in those designed runs where he immediately tucks the ball away, when he turns to run, the ball's out here like a loaf of bread, as my dad used to tell me when I was a kid. He cannot carry the ball if he's not a designed runner. I don't know. He's had an entire offseason with John Beck. I don't know. If he can't fix it, who can? What are we even doing here? 300 people watching live. This is a lot of fun. I'm glad I was talked into doing this. Stephen G says, Curious Bomber, what do you feel is the problem with BYU this year? I think you got a coach on the offense that needs to go. You got to recruit. Somehow, some way, you need to get a top, either a transfer quarterback. I heard DJU went for about $1 million. I heard Cam Ward went to Miami. He might win the Heisman this year for $1.5 million to $2 million. That's what's going to have to happen. BYU needs to write a check, and then they need to start getting some 5-star quarterbacks in. You can't lose the Isaac Wilsons of the world anymore. Can't do it. Transfer quarterbacks. Jerry Bohannon's great teammate, perfect for this team. Can't play quarterback. If he could, he would have been playing tonight. So the defense, nothing needs to change. I wouldn't change one thing about the defense. Jen Knoll says he is right. Those guys were cockstrong. Thank you very much, Jen. I appreciate it. That's a great comment. Trent Brown again checks in, says, oh, sorry, did that one. Boogie Wooget. I love it. BYU needs to get back to developing a QB talent. It's hard to do that in today's day and age, Boogie Wooget, because if you're sitting on the bench 1 year, players leave. So it's very difficult. Ohio State even brings in transfer quarterbacks because they can't develop them. They sit 1 year and they leave. So NIL has changed that. I don't know how you fix the QB thing. Stephen G said, as a Sooner fan, I'm just a neutral party. Good to have you here, Stephen G. Curious Bomber, what do you feel is? Oh, I already did that one too. I'm reading backwards. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to grab these as they come up, but I'm behind. Who would you look at for a new OC? I've been thinking on this for months and months and months, and I had to be honest with you. The only one I can come up with is the guy that was the OC at Dallas. He was a Boise State Bronco quarterback. And he was at Dallas as the offensive coordinator for a while. I believe he's LDS, which helps. It's not required, but it helps. And he's still in the NFL. But if you threw a bag of money at him, because this might surprise people, I found this out. NFL coordinators don't make much more than $1 million a year. Jay Hill's making $1 million a year right now. That would be mid to upper level in the NFL. So that amount of money isn't. If they can pay Jay Hill $1 million, they should be able to do something similar or even more for an OC. Get them both up to $2.5 million or something. They stick around for a few years, build a legacy, and now you've got the program where it was decades ago. So, what was his name? Could somebody correct me? I'm looking in my comments. Kellen Moore, that's who it is. Earl Carr bails me out. Kellen Moore is the only name that came to mind for offensive coordinator. And I'm not even sure he'd take it, right? He's an NFL OC. He maybe even wants to be a head coach. I love Kalani, though. I don't want to replace Kalani. Not that I'm replacing anybody, but I want Kalani to stay. He's the right guy. He's a manager just like Lavelle was. He needs the best coordinators in the business, just like Lavelle had. We get to that model, and BYU will be back up on top again. And not in 10 years. It could be next year. Sooner in Texas says Tebow makes a good OC. I'd be all right with what is Tebow doing nowadays? I don't even know what he's doing. I think he would be really good as an OC if he's gotten into that, though. Yeah, that's a good one. Sooner in Texas. I'd be all for that. Already got that one. Let's see here. Stephen G says, go Garrett Riley from Clemson. Don't know much about him. Again, I think you'd have to open up a wide net and say, this is the amount of money we're going to pay. We want the best. Who's going to be willing to come here and run under our system? Because everybody knows BYU is different, right? BYU does things different. Everything is different. Vox Condaro says Bevo is a metastasizing cancer that the SEC has welcomed under their tent. Good luck, chumps. You'll need it. I'm not sure. Bevo is the bull, isn't it? I'm not sure what that means, Vox Condaro. You might have to explain that one to me. I'm a little slow. I'm going to post the link again. 300 people watching right now. It's a great number. If you want to join me live, just click on that link I put in the comment section and get in here and help me out. I'd love to talk to you about this win, and you guys tell me why I'm completely lost. Like, Jeff might be right. I might be completely in left field. Sooner in Texas Bomber, I disagree with you about everything, especially your Bevo loving tendencies. Okay, Sooner in Texas. Okay, I'm not even sure what that means either. Jan Hulk, all the way from Slovenia. Yes, we are an international show here at the College Football Mafia Network. Jan Hulk checking in from Slovenia. Congrats, Bomber. Congrats to you too, Jan Hulk. Thank you so much for being here tonight. It's great to see you. BR 7062, a newly minted remember. If that makes you feel better, Bomber, Duke and Northwestern game is just as bad, still 10-10. There's a lot of bad football being played right now. I'll be perfectly frank. The Clemson game was terrible bad, right? They were playing Georgia. But, I mean, there were some bad games this last week, too. I think we're getting to a point where that Super League thing, it's not, for one thing, it's not Super League. It'll be something completely different. But it will be an upper tier of schools. You're going to be able to determine who those schools are by win-loss record in a short amount of time, maybe 4 or 5 years, and by the amount of money that the organizations and boosters put into that program to be successful. And now all of a sudden you have your Super League, because those are going to be the schools everybody's going to watch. And attendance numbers draw, and viewership draws everything. That's the most important thing right now. Glenn Lumen, all the way from the Philippines, again, circling the globe. Wide world of sports here tonight. Glenn Lumen in the Philippines, celebrating from here. Thank you very much, Glenn. It's great to see you. Thanks for checking in. What is it? Let's see. It's like 9 in the morning. No, it's like 11 in the morning, right, Glenn? Something like that. Almighty Finn says Jordan Love just got hurt. How is that possible? He was playing. Is that a joke? Jordan Love's in the NFL. Were they playing tonight? I didn't know. Was there an NFL game tonight? Okay. I'm thinking that's a joke, but Almighty Finn says Friday night football is trash. NFL is trash. No excitement. There's a Friday night game. Is that right? Somebody needs to call my cell phone and correct me here. Is there a Friday night NFL going right now? I had no idea. I like the NFL. I had no idea they did Friday night games. And that would mean Jordan Love got hurt. Okay, now it makes sense. Jen Nolt, Jen says, preach it, Bomber. Thank you very much. I appreciate your support, Jen. Very much. Let's see here. Get to some more older comments. Honey Badger 811 really would like to see Jerry get a chance at QB. I was yelling for Jerry in the third quarter. If the race was as close as everyone said it was, let's see what he can do. I think that was disinformation. I don't think the race was ever close. And I think the way you can tell that is by the post-game comments from Jerry last week, where he wasn't upset he didn't get in the game, or he got a few snaps, and that he was a great team player. That's all we heard for a week. That tells me that the competition really wasn't close, because there was no reason not to replace him in the third quarter. That's how bad the first half had been. Larry, the GM, good to see you, Larry. Does this really indicate that the jump from G5 is bigger than we think? Well, it's not bigger than I thought. I always said it was 2 to 5 years. Ute said it was 3 to 6. So around here, no, it's not. We always knew it was going to be a climb. I think the only people you were hearing from that the jump was going to be immediate was where? It was in Dallas. And it was because SMU was writing checks. And they were playing in a league that they honestly didn't deserve to be in. So the climb has always been steep. And if anything, I think it's steeper now with portal and all the changes to college football. Almighty Finn says, what up, fellas? Good to have you here. I just posted the link again. If you want to join the show instead of listening to me talk or reading comments, I'd love to engage with you. We don't have the phone thing working. We've tried fixing that over and over and can't seem to make it work all the time. So it has to be through this hyperlink. I apologize about that. Rocker Rant says, congrats, Bomber Man. SMU sucks. I was way wrong. Yeah, he and I were talking earlier about that. They're going to get training dayed in the ACC. Well, I don't know. The ACC's not so strong either, though, Rock. Have you ever had your ish in? That's a quote, and I'm not sure what that means. But Miami is my pick to win the ACC, hands down, right now. Florida State and Clemson. Florida State was my pick at the beginning, so. BR says SMU is still a G5 team. They will be a G5 team until they completely turn over the actual staff that brought in all the transfer portal heroes. Jen picked BYU. That's all that matters to me. Payson Cougar fan. Good to see you, man. It's been a minute. I missed you. Defense, thumbs up. Yes, defense wins championships. I believe in that. Seahawks won that way. But you have to have a quarterback in modern college football. You can't run the wishbone anymore and get away with having 5 running backs and 1 quarterback and a tight end. You have to be able to throw the ball because they'll just put 9 or 10 guys in the box and make you beat them over the top. There was one. Did anybody catch that one pass by Retzlaff that it looked to me, and it wasn't tipped because they reran it. It literally looked like it was having a seizure or something out of his hand when like 3 yards. Did anybody else see that? Not a good pass. Glenn, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great, man.
All right. So tell me how you're feeling.
Well, I'm getting a little bit better. I'm kind of had some bad news, but I'm stable and I'm making adjustments. So, life is great.
Well, you're going to have to tell you, not offline, but you're going to have to send me a DM and catch me up as to what's going on.
I will.
Okay. All right. So tell me about the game.
Well, exciting, frustrating. My feeling with BYU has always been I take it one game at a time. I always put their record at 6-6. I pick the games that I think they're going to win, the games are going to lose. I'm happy when they win. I'm sad when they lose, but I just think about the next game. I don't go crazy thinking about, oh, they should do this. We win one game, and next thing you know, we're the national championship. We lose one game, we should fire the whole staff.
Right.
I try to be a little bit more than that. But I do agree with you about mimicking what the basketball is doing. I think that is the model. Because now we can bring in coaches that can just coach.
Yes.
So we can get, great assets that BYU has and have them come in and coach and have pretty much unlimited amount of coaches. The fact that we don't have a dedicated quarterback coach for BYU just seems strange to me. We should have a team of quarterback coaches because that is our legacy. So for that to not actually even have a quarterback coach, I guess because I was a freshman Lavelle's first year.
So 72.
So I've been a BYU fan more than half of the 100 years BYU's had a football.
Right.
Which is kind of scary in itself.
Right.
But we don't have time to mess around.
No.
We can't say we're going to build this thing in 10 years. If we build it now and we get the momentum started, it's going to be much easier to recruit those players. And we have to basically form a system that gives the players the best opportunity to be the best they can. And, the rule, we don't even know how long this opportunity is going to last. We don't know if there's going to be curbs on the NIL.
Oh, right.
They'll change the regulations of how many players. They'll put a salary cap on everything, whatever's going to come. So I think we just need to take advantage of this opportunity and go just like basketball, full speed ahead.
So this is and this will explain part of the reason you guys are all just seeing me right now live after a game, amped up. But I'll be honest with everybody watching right now, this has been building for years for me, watching the way the program is run.
Yeah.
Tuiaki should have been fired the year before he was fired. Tuiaki was the worst defensive coordinator I have ever seen in my life, and that includes Pop Warner. He couldn't defend a wet paper bag. So
BYU was always trying to do everything on a budget. Because of the conference we were in and then independence.
Right.
We did the best we could with the money that we had.
Right.
But now we're not in that situation.
We're not.
We got to stop playing like we're still independent and hoping for the big dream.
And that's where my urgency comes from.
Yeah.
It's the fact that we continue to wait. How long do we wait for those changes to be made? Yeah. Jeff made the comment, you don't get rid of a coordinator during the middle of the season. I said, why not? The sooner you get onto a coaching search that might take 6 months is better than whatever you're going to lose in the season.
Yeah, I remember Jaime Hill got fired in the middle
of
the year.
Yeah.
So,
well, why did Bronco do that? To save his own job.
Well, there's no doubt about that.
And I think Kalani's in the same boat.
Yeah.
I think he's in the exact same spot.
I mean, losing Coach Rose was the wake-up call that BYU needed.
You're talking about for basketball?
Not Rose, Pope.
Yeah, it did. It shook everything. It did. You're right. Yeah. It broke everything open. Yes.
If Pope would have stayed, it'd be same old, same old.
I agree. I 100% agree with you.
So
all I'm saying is, if we know what we're going to do anyway, why wait?
Yeah.
And that's the sense of urgency that I'm trying to instill. Look, you and I both know BYU fans in general, very conservative, very blue, and don't take kindly to contrarian opinions. Like, I'm an outlier, right? People look at me and they say, if I say anything that is at all critical, it's negative. When in just being critical, that's how you make improvements.
Yeah.
But that's not how they do things in Provo. In Provo, there's a reason why I'm not going to the pregame activities down there, and I haven't gotten an invite into the locker room, is because I'm willing to say the stuff that Spence Linton's not going to say. You're not going to get from anybody on BYU Sports Nation, because their checks are paid by BYU's media, right? I'm not on that hook, so I don't feel a reason that I need to hold my breath or in any way be reserved, because you know why? I want to win a national championship again. I don't care when it is. I want that to happen, and we can't do that if we're okay with a three-point win over an SMU team that honestly I don't think wins the AAC this year.
Well, I just think we have this rare opportunity. I mean, I understand about the coordinator, and I'm going to put that on the AD Homo to make those decisions.
Right.
Hopefully, he will look, but. I mean, right now, I'm concerned of how many recruits that we should have got that we lost.
Yes.
And we have a great potential recruiting class for 26.
Yes.
And it should be full speed ahead for those, because whatever it takes to get, because, BYU can recruit a pretty good team. We really only need about 10 players.
Yes.
Yeah. If we get 5 great players on offense, 5 great players on defense with a good coaching staff that can develop them, throw them in with the BYU players that we normally get.
Yes.
We got a great team.
So let me ask you one final question, then I'll let you go.
Sure.
If Jay Hill can come in 1 year, turn over the entire defense and recruit 4 or 5 4-star athletes on the defensive side 2 seasons in a row, and now he has a defense that looks like it could be top 5 in the entire Big 12.
Yeah.
Why didn't Aaron Roderick do any of that? The only solution Aaron Roderick had was, let's keep doing retread quarterbacks, because I can't recruit another Jay Hill or Zach Wilson.
Well, just look what Coach Hill did, that he brought in from Weber. Some of our best players are people that he that he recruited when he was Division
That's my
two.
point.
So
That's my
it's like,
point.
so it's ridiculous. So
Yeah.
I think we should go full speed ahead. I don't have any problem with that. I don't think we should wait. Of course, it's not my bank account that's
Right.
writing
It's
the
not mine
check.
either. Although I am
But
a contributor, I am a booster. So,
yeah,
I
I
do
send
put money in.
I send my money to the collective every month.
Right.
So
Right.
but yeah, I would like to take advantage of this opportunity. And like I say, we have the model. I
We
remember
do.
when Coach Pope said, "Well, we just can't recruit
Yeah.
any. We can't recruit any international players." Remember Coach Rose saying that way? We just can't get
Yeah.
any international players. Now, half of our team, or more than half of our team, is from abroad.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah, BYU is going to win a lot of basketball games this year.
yeah. I
So,
really think that we need to, and it's not just money. We got to match it with the opportunity. We got to match it
right.
with coaching,
Right.
with facilities, because nowadays a kid is saying, "Why should I go to your school?" And it should be so I can be the best I can be.
Well, it's certainly not just to get paid, because that's what SMU does.
Mm.
You
But
have to have other pieces. So,
I think there's a Kansas City head coach that's going to retire soon.
I
And
don't think he's coming to Provo.
oh, I think we should pay him all the money he needs to just spend a
I
45 minutes a day recruiting.
I
We'll
think
just pay
he's just
we'll
really
just pay
tired.
him to be a recruiting specialist. You want to say, "Hey, you want to come and play for us? I'll be here.
All
I'll
right.
bring in all my NFL guys.
All
We'll have
right,
Mahone
Glenn.
down here on the weekend."
We do not need Coach Prime in Provo. That's all I'm saying. I don't need
Oh
that.
well, I don't think that Coach Reed is that kind of guy.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, and I mean, I think Kellen Moore is the guy. I think we should go
I
all out on Kellen
yeah,
Moore.
I think
We
he
should.
is.
I think he would love to live in a LDS community. I think he'd love to raise his family there. Um, Same thing like basketball. Pay him a good bunch of money, have him be a legacy guy, and just go for it.
Yep, I completely agree. All right, I'm going to let you
All
go,
right.
Glenn.
Thanks, man.
Thank you so much. It's great to see you.
You see my garden back here?
I do see it. Yeah, see it. We're here getting baked, dry heat, and you're getting water. So
Yeah.
that's the way it goes.
There's my wife's orchids up there. So
Okay.
anyway,
All right. We'll see you
we'll talk to
later.
you later, man. All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Glenn Lumen checking in from the Philippines. I really appreciate that. I'm going to post the link again. For anybody who wants to join the show, just click on that link and come in right now. I'll bring you right on the show. I'm getting back to comments since we've had some really good conversations. Some have been up, some have been down, but I'm willing to take the shots for everybody else. Stephen G says, more importantly, the kids in DC they aren't 2 years down the line commits. Yeah, that's right. Stephen, you're exactly right. And that's messaging, right? That all has to start from the top. All of it. Sooner again says BYU doesn't need to wait on anything. The Big 12 is wide open and waiting for someone to step up and be the boss. I agree with you, Sooner. And that's why if we had a quarterback right now, today, if we had a quarterback, I would have picked BYU to win 9 games this year and to challenge for the championship. That's the difference between success and failure, or success and middling. It's not some complete rebuild or get 50 new coaches or any of it. It's one player. And who do you blame that player on? The offensive coordinator and the recruiting staff from the previous 2 years. That's who you blame that on. Because they haven't been able to get any 4-star or 5-star quarterbacks in 2 years. Now there's a couple 4s that are on missions. Not much we can do with those, right? We got some they're coming in, but they're going to be true freshmen. How many true freshmen start and succeed? So I agree with whoever said it to me earlier today. I think we ought to throw $1.5 or $2 million at a proven top of the line quarterback that is going to lose his seat at Ohio State or at any of the blue blood schools. And I wouldn't put any, because you're only playing for 1 year. The honor code, anybody can do anything for 1 year. That's why the basketball team's successful right now. It's because they're only recruiting for 1 year, one and done. You don't have to build some honor code around, an 18, 19-year-old kid filled with hormones to stay straight for 4 years before he gets his chance. Those days are gone. Transfer quarterback, $1.5 million, start tomorrow, 1 year. Let's see here. Bomber, did you hear about the new book, The Price? What it takes to win in college football's era of chaos? I think I should send it to you, HBD, this week, bro. Maybe have the authors on the show. If you'll send me the book, I absolutely, one, will read it because it sounds interesting to me. No idea, haven't seen it. And two, I will try to track down the authors. And you can even come on and we'll have a conversation about it. Absolutely. If you want to do that. Oh, wait, Sagebrush Brown. I'm sorry. I'm talking to my sister. Shelly, don't spend any money on a book. I'll go out and buy it. You cannot spend any money on it. Anybody else watching in the audience, if you want to buy this book, The Price, and send it to me, I'll give you my address. Send me a DM. But my sister, no, you need to save your money. Keep it up there. You need it. I don't need it that bad. But I will read it, Shell. Once I see it, I absolutely read it. It's great to see you. Did you catch the BYU game, or did you just see me pop up on your timeline? I love you so much. Thank you so much. Thanks for your birthday wishes and all your prayers for my surgery. I really appreciate it, Shelly. Kenneth Stromness, another member. Good to have you here, Kenneth. I now hope SMU wins the ACC. It would be good for BYU. Yes, it would. Yep, everybody in Provo should be begging for SMU to win out. What's the chance SMU wins out? Not very big. They have an athletic quarterback that can't throw, and they can't settle on a starting quarterback. Those two things will sink any program. So I don't even know what they're doing down there in Dallas. That was a disaster today. They should have beat BYU on those turnovers. They should have beat BYU with 2 or 3 touchdowns. BYU should have won by 2 or 3 touchdowns without their mistakes. But after BYU's mistakes, SMU should have won by 2 or 3 touchdowns. This is one of those games that could have gone either way, depending on who capitalized. BYU just outlasted them at the end of the day. Let's see here. Stephen G says, what should BYU do for conference play? What can they do? I don't know if there's anything that can be done. The season is the season. There's nothing that can be done. Oh, Glenn Luman corrects me. Now I remember. NFL from Brazil. So that's who's playing tonight, and that's how Jordan Love got hurt. If you're just hearing this now, Jordan Love got hurt tonight playing down in Brazil. He's the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, in case you didn't know that. Write your congressman if you don't like that. Jordan Love is the highest paid quarterback. That's how starved the NFL is for good, smart quarterback play. Jordan Love is the highest paid quarterback, and he just got hurt. That's just crazy. Absolutely. My grandma told me to be a kicker. That's what I should have done. My grandma Elsmore told me, be a kicker. You can play for 20 years. That's what she told me. But I wanted to be something else. Anyway. Thanks, Glenn, for the update. Coos Corner, how you doing, Justin? Here, Justin, I'm gonna post the link in the comments. And I know it's late, your family is in bed. Click on that link and join me and tell me what you thought of the game tonight. I'd love to hear your opinion. You're a third party. A lot of third parties watching. I'd really like to hear your opinion about it. I'm being pretty critical. While we're waiting for Justin to maybe join or not join, everybody that's watching right now, please hit the like button. Everybody follow us on Twitter. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Those subscriptions are really big. We're trying to get to 5,000 by the end of the September. I could use, if we had 300 subscriptions tonight, that would be amazing. And we would be really, really close to passing to the 5,000 sub limit. So if you like what we're doing here, and this is a lot of fun, and you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, okay? Kuz says, I only watched the last few seconds or a couple minutes. I was at a local high school game. Well, if you're still up, we can decompress. I can review it with you. And it'll be a lot of fun. I'd love to hear your opinion. If you didn't hear about it, I can tell you some of the highlights. You tell me what your perception of that is. I posted the link. If you have time to join, great. No obligation, obviously. Daniel Gygax has been yelling at me, telling me just take the win. Be happy and take the win. He's also a valued member of the Mafia family, saying you don't want a gift from your sister. My sister is a gift every day being my sister. I don't need her to spend any money on me. The same thing with my family. I don't. That's not what my love language is. So, of course, I love to receive things, but my sister's more important to me than any one thing. Let's see here. Kuz also says, I know you guys aren't happy with the offense, but that fourth down play call late in the game was awesome. Yeah. So I heard somebody on right after the game on Twitter said that one play should get Aaron Roderick a new contract next year. That's a bunch of crap. One good play out of hundreds of bad plays and losses does not make a career. No way. Absolutely not. And by the way, that play was so high risk, had such a low threshold for possible failure that by itself could have gotten an offensive coordinator at Alabama fired. At a big program, that's how big those decisions are. At BYU, there hasn't been a lot of penalties. We need to turn up everything. Everything needs to get more difficult at BYU. We need to raise our standards. 1980s standards. If we want to be successful, that's what BYU needs to do. Daniel Gygax says, Kuz, you going to Blacksburg tomorrow? My brother's going to be there. Just look for the tallest guy in the Marshall shirt. That's funny. I like that. Anybody else can join, by the way. I've posted the join link a couple times. If you want to come on and just talk for a few minutes, I'd love to have you come on. I just like talking. This has been a lot of fun. 400 people watching for an hour. That's crazy talk. Infamous front runner. Sorry, good to see you. What's up with Jibo? Not ready? Gary Bohannon? I don't know. He's the big. Nobody knows what's going on with Bohannon. I either he's hurt or he's past it, and I don't know what the answer is. What's going on, Justin?
What's up?
How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm sitting here in my comfy white t-shirt.
Good. So we did this instant Reax show as a public service request. Somebody asked me to throw something together. We got 400 people watching us live, so this is a lot
Awesome.
of fun. First, tell me about the game you were just at.
Yeah, local high school, the two county rivals, I guess you could call it, here in the county, were playing each other. Obviously the one my kids go to, and the one across town who's a multiple-time state champion and has kind of had our number for a long time. But here in the last 2 to 3 years, we've caught up with them, and we spanked them 63-7.
Whoa! So you turned the corner a little bit then.
Oh yeah, it's most points they've allowed in the history of their program tonight.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you gotta love that, right?
Yeah, it's all good, man. It's a good night.
So, first, I know this is gonna be painful, but one last time, relive for me what last weekend was like, because
Well, I gotta go. Sorry.
I was cheering for West Virginia.
I
wanted you guys to win, and I just was it the time delay? Was it poor planning, or was Penn State just 2 touchdowns better?
Penn State was better.
Okay.
But they weren't that much better.
Okay.
West Virginia needed to play a really clean game to win, and they did the complete opposite. I mean, they fumbled 2 snaps. You have a senior quarterback and a senior center.
Yeah.
You can't fumble snaps. Basically, what it boils down to is the moment was too big for them. They had hyped this game up. This game had been hyped up for weeks and weeks and weeks. You had the Pat McAfee show in town. You had, Pat McAfee saying Garrett Green should be in the Heisman race. You had, which was ludicrous, by the way. You had just, the staff saying this is the most talented team they've had. I mean, just you name it, man. And they came out and played like crap, to be frank, and weren't even competitive. So,
well,
a lot of unhappy fans right now in West Virginia.
So, did you hear the score, or did you watch any of the game then tonight?
I did. I watched the last couple of minutes. I was
okay.
When we got in the car leaving the game, I wanted to catch the score, so I turned it on. And at that time, it was 15. As I was turning it on, SMU tied it at 15-15 with a field goal.
Okay.
And then I watched the rest of it, what I could. That play call, I know the offense didn't look good tonight based on what I've read online and whatnot, but and I haven't even looked at the stats or anything. But
Right.
that play call and that fourth down play call there near the end of the game was brilliant. I'll be honest with you.
It was.
But that was one, obviously one play call out of dozens. But
Right. Right.
but that was a great call. But anyway, what? Since I didn't get to watch the game, why are you and other BYU fans not happy?
I'm specifically not happy for a few reasons. Let's talk about the game itself. The main reason I'm unhappy tonight is because while the defense went out and balled out, the offense, which was the crux of the problem last year, has made no marked strides in the offseason. The quarterback they have can't hold on to the ball. Last week, the very first snap, he fumbled the ball but got it right back. Right. Tonight, he fumbled the ball and lost it. He had 2 or 3 of some of the ugliest picks you will ever see in your life, Coos, and I would encourage you to watch them because you'll just go like this, yeeks. Yeah, and for a program, one of the prestige of BYU and certainly of where they want to be in the national stage, you just can't do that, especially to an SMU team that could not look more disorganized.
Right.
I don't know where all this PR was coming from. It was except for SMU PR, I'm guessing, that they were going to win the ACC and they were this improved and that. They have what, 22 starting players that all are playing for themselves. Not one of them is pulling in the same direction as the others. It was just a train wreck.
Yeah, to me, I thought it was a little crazy that so many people were picking SMU to win. There were people picking them to win the ACC this year.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And I guess that's still possible, but
yeah, that's true.
They have a lot of improvement to make. But
yeah.
Anyway, a team coming up from G5 to P5 in 1 year is not going to be that good. Come on, I mean, give me a break. We saw it last year.
You and I know that. You and I know that,
yeah.
But in Dallas, they don't understand.
You don't. I don't get it. But what? And even though SMU fans have been pretty annoying, there were even national media people picking them to be really good. So now they are recruiting well. I'll give them that. So the future looks good there.
I agree.
But right now, they look like a dumpster fire.
Well, and let's be very clear. Unless the schedule changes, they're in Provo next year. So it's not like BYU. I mean, this SMU team is going to continue to get better. It's just going to take time. It just you don't do it overnight. I don't care how many $1 million checks you write, to bring players from Florida, Florida State, Miami, and UCF, and I don't know, Fullerton County Correctional Facility. I don't care who you bring in. If you don't get them on the same page and they don't play together and they don't have a leader, they were switching quarterbacks until the fourth quarter. They couldn't pick a starting quarterback.
Yeah, when I was watching, I saw somebody named Jennings playing quarterback. I think.
Yes, he's the more athletic of the two.
And I'd never even heard of the young man, so I'm thinking I don't remember this being I don't remember this name, being the guy that was supposed to lead them. So that explains that then.
Yeah, I think the kid that he's been trading with is a 4-star that they came in last year, I think. I might have the dates wrong, but he was supposed to be the front runner going in, but he was like 3 and out. BYU just kept shutting him down. At least the other guy, not the greatest thrower, but he's extremely athletic.
Yeah.
I mean, like breaking tackles and, very like a baby Colin Kaepernick. That's how he was playing.
Gotcha.
And very hard to tackle, very slippery. He's tall and thin, extremely strong. So he's going to give people fits. But honestly, between you and I, all you have to do is stack the box and say, throw the ball.
Yeah.
And you'll beat SMU. Their defense is not good.
Yeah. Well, again, if your all's offense was really bad, maybe that's why they held you guys to 18. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Well, BYU's offense was supposed to be really bad. We were supposed to be down. It was 10.5 points was the spread. And yet we put over 400 yards in offense into the game.
Oh, you did? But you only scored 18 points.
Yeah, that's how bad it was.
Okay.
It was a train wreck.
Got it.
Yeah. I think you can watch it back on ESPN, I think.
Yeah, I'll try to catch some of the highlights.
Yeah.
I did see that interception that sideline interception by one of your defenders.
That was nice.
That was awesome.
That was very nice.
And by the way, it was really cool to see Kalani Sitake so fired up on the sidelines after that game, man. He was juiced.
Yeah,
I loved
that's
it.
why BYU fans love him, right? And he really is help me pass this message on to the wider world. The reason we like Kalani is because one, he's following in the footsteps of a Lavelle, who he played for.
Mm-hmm.
He's that type of a coach. But what Lavelle was a manager. He came up with schemes, but he had coordinators, top of the world coordinators, offensive and defensive, that did all the coaching.
Right.
He did all the leadership. So that's what Kalani needs to do. He's got a defensive coordinator now. Jay Hill he's a stud. He is an absolute stud. He was a stud last year. He's going to be even better this year. BYU is going to have to lock him up or he's going to be gone. But the offense is just a disaster. And Kalani was pissed after the game. I don't know if you heard his interview, but he's like, defense stepped up, special teams, offense. He's not happy. You don't hear him normally grouse.
Right.
So that tells me that the frustration level is climbing.
Yeah, probably so, and rightfully so, right?
I think so. Yeah.
It's interesting. But hey, Big 12 got a win tonight. I was happy with that.
Right. Let's keep that going. Absolutely. Let's go.
Tomorrow's a big day for the Big 12, man.
It is.
You got Oklahoma State, Arkansas. You've got the games are escaping me. I'll talk Iowa State, Iowa.
Yep.
Another big one.
How about Baylor beats Utah? What do you think about that?
I don't know who to root for. Well, I guess I'll.
It's not a conference game. It's an out of conference game.
I'll cheer for Baylor since they're I don't know.
It's an out of conference game, so if Utah wins, the conference doesn't get credit.
Neither they don't win if Baylor wins either, though.
Yeah, they do. It's an out of conference game. If Baylor beats them, it's like they beat a Pac-12 school.
Okay, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. So if Baylor wins, it counts towards the conference record, and then it also counts against Utah's strength of schedule and their out of conference record. So
the Bears, I guess. Then
I'm cheering for Baylor. I know you.
Well, I know you
will.
I know you are. That doesn't surprise
me. Yeah, right. I completely understand.
A couple months ago, I would have been cheering for Baylor for sure, but then I actually met a few nice Utah fans online and kind of changed my tone a little bit. But
there's a few of them, tongue in cheek. There's good sports fans all over.
And our mutual friend Wild Ute, obviously.
Right. So tell everybody, about your show and what you've got going on now. It's been a minute since I've talked to you.
Yeah, man. Appreciate that. I obviously Kuz's Corner, for those of you who don't know who I am. I cover West Virginia, the Big 12, conference realignment. During season, I'm, obviously leaning more towards West Virginia. But I did want to announce I have a new show coming on my channel called Matt's Big 12 Blitz. I'm going to have another contributor coming on doing a show every Friday night at 7 p.m.
Okay.
Covering the Big 12. So if you're a fan of another Big 12 team outside of West Virginia, we'll talk about Colorado. We'll talk, he'll preview the previous week's games, and then he'll talk about the upcoming games, that weekend too. So if you're not a fan of West Virginia, you should enjoy Matt's Big 12 Blitz. I'm really looking forward to having Matt on as part of the team.
Excellent.
So yeah, looking forward to that. And then got a show I'm doing weekly now with another contributor named Jonathan Martin. We have the Golden Blue Breakdown show where we preview the upcoming West Virginia game that week.
Okay.
So it may have some other things potentially coming down the horizon. I don't know. I'm brainstorming a little bit, but
that's okay. That's all right.
But yeah,
so where do they find you? On Twitter, on YouTube?
Twitter on Twitter at Couz206, at COUZ206, and then on YouTube at Couz's Corner is the two main places I have all the other social media too, but I'm not on them a whole lot. So Twitter is the easiest one if you want to interact with me. And then my website too, Couz'sCorner.com. I forget to plug that a lot, but you can go on there and drop me an email or whatever.
There you go. One of the best in the business, people. If you're not familiar with him, go over to his YouTube show. Make sure you follow him on Twitter and subscribe on YouTube. and catching. The library's getting bigger, more and more shows. It's always good to see you. Thanks for coming on.
Appreciate you, man.
You
Thank
bet. We'll see you later.
Uh-huh.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Always friend of the show, Justin Coos. Love having him here. Thank you so much for being here, Justin. I've got a comment here from Rock and Rand who says, Coos, West Virginia let me down last week, lol, but I still believe in you guys. That's nice, Rock. Hey, look, I think West Virginia is still a very good team. I just think that I underestimated Penn State and I overestimated West Virginia. And now that I've had that correction, I think Penn State's very, very good. So we'll have to see. Drew Aller he's the X factor and he's improved quite a bit. So I don't know, maybe the Big Ten race is a little more open than I thought it was going to be. To Town Hawk, good to see you. Coos, I expect the Kansas-West Virginia game to be an absolute battle this year. Are you going to that one? If it's at home, I think he makes it to most home games in West Virginia. I'm not sure about his road schedule, but you could obviously send him a note on Twitter if you want to, and he'd be sure to answer you. I'm going to post the link again if anybody wants to join the show. I'm going to go another 20 minutes, and then I'm going to let you guys all go to bed. So what else do you want to talk about? Because I'm at 700 comments, and I'm not nearly going to get to them, especially without anybody doing this with me. So if you want your comment to be read, make it a super chat. Otherwise, I'll try to get to it. More than likely, probably won't, just to be honest. But I appreciate everybody being here regardless. This has been a lot of fun, and I guess maybe we ought to do this more if BYU wins. If BYU loses, I will not be anywhere. You won't be able to find me on the internet or on my phone, on Twitter. No way. Because if you think tonight was rough, after losses, I'm not fun to be around. Ask my wife. Rocker Rand also says the GPA Bowl going to overtime. So come on, Northwestern. I picked you. You got to win. Northwestern's got to win. By the way, if any of you have Netflix, and you know who Hope Solo is, Hope Solo, an all-world, probably arguably the best soccer player in America ever, men or women, but arguably the best soccer player in the United States has ever put out into the international sphere. I believe it's one of those special shows they do on Netflix, and it's one of these things where they dive into her history and her personal experiences. Just so everybody knows, Hope Solo went to the school that I'm from, Richland High School, Richland Bombers. I'm a Bomber, and she's a Bomber, and she won 2 state championships in the 90s for my proud Richland High School. So I just want to give a shout out. If you haven't had a chance to watch that show, I highly recommend it. I watched it right when it came out, and it is really good. You'll learn a lot about U.S. women's soccer and men's soccer for that matter, and I think you'll understand a little while American soccer is so dysfunctional, because it is. We are nothing compared to the rest of the world in soccer. Stephen G says, Bomber, want to give us your thoughts on tomorrow's games? Oh boy, Stephen, you ask a tough one. If I could remember them, I would say yes. I can't remember them. I posted my picks. I posted my picks on our Discord. And I can have the Discord. It's free. Anybody can join, and you can get on there and see my picks on there. There's a bunch of Big 12 schools. I think I picked every Big 12 school that was in the picks. Big week for the Big 12. And then there's not a lot of top games like Georgia. The biggest game, of course, is Michigan, Texas, and I took Texas. So I know we have some Go Blues that are in my fandom here, and if I've made you upset, I apologize. I'm not trying to, but I think Texas is going to win that game. I think Texas is going to be in the championship game this year, probably against Georgia, but we'll have to see how that comes out. So I'm sorry. If you really want to know what my picks are, go and watch the show we did Big Freaking Friday this evening, right before the BYU game. I went through the picks there, and tell me how I did. I think I'm pretty good. I won the whole pick thing last year. I think I'm pretty good at picking games. So we'll have to see how that goes. To Town Hawk follows up by saying, Coos Corner, I hope to get out there some year for a road game. Yes, definitely get to West Virginia for a road game. One of the most beautiful places you'll go to watch a football game. Can Houston upset OU? The simple answer is never. That was simple. That was easy to answer. Larry the GM says, Bomber, this is a good time for you to be all in on. All in on what though, Larry? You have to tell me all in on what? I'm all in on everything I do. I don't really do half measures. So if I've said I believe in something, I'm pretty much all in on it. Heart on my sleeve and all that fun stuff. If you can remind me what you're talking about, I can give you a pretty quick answer on that, I think. AMAC checking in. Good to see you, AMAC. It's been a minute. Great win for BYU. Yes, definitely was a great win. And thanks for watching me here, AMAC. It's great to see you. Larry the GM follows up by saying, for you all to be on YouTube. Yeah, there we go. Yes, I am. Yep. I love YouTube. When I've been sick this last month or so, I've missed you guys. I've missed this. I've missed the interaction, Twitter, all of it. I used to play video games. I don't do that anymore. I do this now. So I appreciate everything you guys have done for me and my team, the College Football Mafia Network team, and all my guys, and certainly all the support you've given on Twitter. And then of course for all the members, the and the super chats, the super stickers, and all the membership fees, undying gratitude. I couldn't thank you anymore. If you're new to the channel, take this second right now to make sure you subscribe to the channel on YouTube. If you're on Twitter watching, go to YouTube, subscribe so we get those subscription numbers up. Follow us on Twitter, and you can see when this comment's down, you'll see all of my Twitter handles and everything. Follow me all on Twitter. Subscribe on YouTube. Become a member of the channel on YouTube by going to College Football Mafia Network on YouTube or Big 12 Mafia. You'll find us. And become part of the growing entity that is the College Football Mafia Network family. And it's a pretty cool thing. This kind of open late night chat is awesome. Wishing you the best. Thank you, Larry. I really appreciate it. I would do it more. It does take a lot out of me. I'll give you that, especially right after an emotional BYU game. I'm easier if I'm not having to run the whole thing. If I've got a co-host, because then I don't have to talk the whole time. But it is a lot of fun. And maybe I'll do it more. One thing it doesn't give us is I don't get a lot of subscriptions and I don't get a lot of super chats, and that's okay. But we have to put our time where it's most important, and sometimes those other shows, I had to put more time into than a React show. But yeah, maybe I know this. We'll be doing some React shows after Utah games if they're early, because Utes going to come on. We're going to do those, and then certainly the Holy War game. Ute and I are going to be doing both pregame and postgame of that, and that'll be a lot of fun as well. Coos Corner says Jeff is awesome. Yes, he is awesome. Kenneman is a good friend, and even though we jar, just like I jar with Ute and Moen and Rock and Rant and Pickles and Becky and Jen and Amelia, anybody who's come on as a contributor, I don't back I'm from anybody. I'm not afraid of confrontation, but I do it with respect. I respect you. You respect me. Yeah, I'm running the show, so I do interrupt a little bit. I try not to do that, but it's certainly not without respect, and it's certainly not disrespect. So if there's an SMU guy wants to come on here and jaw with me, take the link, hop on, and tell me how I'm wrong. Tell me how SMU is going to rule the ACC this year. I would love to hear from you. But we're not going to hear from any SMU fans because they know they were chirping in my ear for the last 6 months about this game. And on Twitter, they've disappeared. Absolutely disappeared. Sooner in Texas again says, Bomber, you just said that you picked Texas for the championship game. You were off my Christmas card list. I could be wrong. You know what? I have my picks here. Let's do some truth in advertising here, okay? Bombers picks. I'll tell you, I had a championship. I did. See, my memory's not so bad. Georgia and Texas in the championship game, and I have Georgia winning the whole thing. Georgia should have won last year. They were the best team last year. And if they win this year, that would have put them 4 in a row, which you'd have to go back to Notre Dame in the 20s and 30s to see anything like that dominance, which only 5 teams were playing football then, so I'm not sure how much that really counts anyway. Jeff isn't in bed yet. Jeff, go to bed. You have to be at a game tomorrow. Bombers, the awesomest. Thank you, Jeff. I really appreciate it. Tip of the hat to you, sir. In all truth, Jeff is a data stud, and there's not anybody out there outside of Wild Ute and Ryan Thomas. Those 3. Oh, and Brian at Sikkim 365. Brian Etheridge. Those 4 guys, Jeff being one of them, the best data guys, the best analytics, the best numbers people in all of college football social media. Not genetics, not Tony Altimore, who's a fraud. Both of those guys are frauds, by the way. None of them. Those 4 guys I just named are the best in the business, and all the data they use, they actually have resources that you can counter check if you think they said something wrong. One, if they do, they'll own it, but they don't make many mistakes, and it all comes from publicly available information. So if you're new to our channel, you don't know anything about any of those people I was just mentioning, go to 365 Sports to get Brian Etheridge's stuff. I'm going to get him on my show eventually. Jeff goes and does a bunch of BYU stuff, Criddle, and is constantly checking his data out in the world. He and Ryan and then you, of course, are also on my channel as well. So those are the 4 best in the business. Anybody come at me with a different person, and I'll consider adding them to the pantheon. But right now, it's those 4 guys. Kenneth Stromness, a member, and I love that last name, Stromness. That's awesome. I love Jeff's numbers. Yes, they are the best. Sage Rush Brown, again, my sister says, Venmo is my preferred method to support the show. Love the ticker at the bottom of the screen. Smart. Thank you, Shelly. That was my idea. I hope it's smart. I don't know. You guys make fun of me. I used to do this for church basketball games. That's how kind of broken I am. In the early 80s, my dad had a video camera, one of those ones that was about this big. And I used to take it to church basketball games, and I used to sit and do the stats, do the scoreboard, and then do play-by-play at a church basketball game. I actually have tape of a couple of those games. Anybody who calls me a liar, I'll consider posting that on Twitter. I'm just teasing. I would never do that. But it was a lot of fun. Let's see here. To Town Hawk says, I'm interested to see if headsets make smaller budget teams more competitive when they play big budget teams. It should cut down on the sign stealing. Hello, Connor Stallions. It's one reason why I love the KU Huddles Up. I think it'll make a huge difference, just like NIL and the transfer portal. I think the differences between the top teams and the bottom teams are shrinking, and everyone in the middle is getting better. But then I would also say there's a haves and a have-nots in the amount of money available to those different programs, and that's where you're going to see the separation. It's going to be anywhere from 48 to 60 schools. Those are the numbers I've picked out of thin air. Not really. They're based on things, but 48 to 60 schools, and those 48 to 60 schools in 2 or 3 conferences will be playing top-tier football. Everybody else will be in a basketball league or playing for the second championship, whatever that is going to be called, like the Division II champion is now. I'm predicting the future. Let's see here. To Town Hawk says they run plays in. Yeah, no, that's cool. I totally understand them doing that for sure. Shelly, stop it. Stop sending me stuff. Let's see here. You guys, this has been so much fun. I hope you've enjoyed it. Let's see. AMAC says SMU can buy their way into a P4, but that doesn't mean they can buy a P4 win. Wow, you need to, boy, you need to put that in quotation marks, put it out on Twitter right now, AMAC. Own that quote. I like it. It's true. That's true. It is difficult to find P4 wins. I know, because BYU had a hard time getting. BYU only had 2 last year, so that's how big a deal it is. I totally understand. Let's see. Any other comments? I'm going to do a 5-minute. Sorry, we got 8 minutes left. Give me your comments rapid fire right now. 8 minutes. I'll just start reading them from the bottom. You guys give them to me, and I'll try to answer them. Rock and Rant says, by the way, Rock, thanks for coming and helping me here. Duke takes the lead in second OT. No! Come on, Northwestern. Don't screw me up like this. Tie with a TD, win with a conversion. What was the point spread? Rock, tell me what the point spread was on that game, because I took Northwestern. To Town Hawk says Northwestern's huge budget, and they're about to lose at home to Manny Diaz and double OT. Well, money doesn't equal wins. I think we've definitely established that now after tonight. Although BYU is not the poorest program out in the world either. Let's not get it twisted. BYU has money. Nobody has SMU money. Notre Dame, Ohio State, maybe Georgia by this time. 5 programs maybe that have the same money that SMU does. That, money has no losing season. Let's see here. Northwestern -1.5. Dang it. They're gonna screw my perfect record going into the weekend. Doggone it. Sooner says SMU has suffered more than any other P4 team. First the death penalty, then Texas blocking them from the Big 12. Now they are playing in the ACC for free. Well, I heard something about some running back went out and killed a bunch of hookers. I don't know if that's true or not, but SMU did not play nicely in the 80s and 70s. So that's where the death penalty comes from. Let's see here. Northwestern. Oh, let's see. I'm praying Becky didn't hex my Jayhawks for tomorrow. Kansas better win. Kansas better win. Rockhawk, Jayhawk. Let's just get them to win. Yeah, opened at 4, closed -1.5. I don't know. I think Moen picks our numbers on Thursdays, so I'm not sure exactly. I think it's 1.5. That sounds familiar from tonight. Craig James, that's right. Craig James killing some hookers. I heard that someone said that. I think Moen said that. I'm just repeating it now. I'm just repeating it. I didn't say it. I'm repeating it. Somebody else said it. All right, guys. I am gassed. This was so much fun. I would have to agree with Larry, the GM. These are always the funnest shows of all of them because they're off the cuff. It doesn't matter. We need to get the Rock. I know you're still watching. We need to. I don't care if we have to pay for a client. I don't even buy at this point. I'd buy a whole separate PC just to run the phone input if it would make a difference, because we need to get phone calls into our channels and shows. This would have been a lot funner with people calling and raging from their cell phones instead of on their laptops. But we'll continue to work on that. We'll effort getting that done. Other than that, I think that's it. You guys have anything else you want to say? Last. We'll finish with this. Larry, the GM. Thanks, Bomber. Thank you very much, Larry. Everybody have a great night. Our next show will be Sunday night at, I think it's 9 Eastern. That would be Moen After Dark. And that's Rock and Rant. And Moen will be on that show. And then Monday night, we'll have at 8 p.m. Eastern. That would be the Big Ten Mafia show, which is Sergeant Pickles, Moen, and Becky. And then Tuesday night, I will be back with Wild Ute, Moen, and a cast of thousands talking Big 12 Mafia and all things else college football. I would just tell everybody, be careful who you quote, and be careful who you're quoting by. Check sources always. Don't take things at first blush, and always ask that second question, because the first one never seems quite adequate enough. Everybody have a great night. Stay out of trouble. Duke won by 6. Well, that ruins my perfect weekend. Oh, well, that's the way it goes. Everybody have fun the rest of your night. We'll talk soon, and thank you so much for all your support. Again, another show on the College Football Mafia Network.